Alrighty, in this video we are now going to start working with our notifications. So when we send a message, like for example here, we want to be able to deliver the message to the other user in real time without having to do any kind of refresh like polling. So we're not going to work with that. So this time let's now go ahead and create our first notification. Let's go back to our code. In here we can just close all this, we don't need it anymore. Open up the terminal. In here we can start by creating our first notification. So here type php artisan make notification. Here we want the message with a capital M and a capital S, message sent. Click enter. Now this will create the notification in this folder. So here open up the file explorer. We collapse everything. Here in the app, notifications, this one. So we have our notification set up. Now in here we need the data for construct here. So let's create some public properties that are going to pass to this notification. Here public user, we can copy this 3 more times. In here we can create message, the conversation of course, and the receiver here ID. And then in here we have to pass this properties user, copy that a few more times. Here message, conversation, receiver ID. Well, now let's add these again. In here let's add this user is equals to user. Okay, again let's copy this, paste this a few more times. Here message, conversation, receiver ID. Alright, now that is done, in here we have to, in here it's asking how we're gonna deliver this notification. So I'm gonna use broadcasting. So here just type broadcast. In here we're gonna add another function. Now this is going to be a default method. So we can go to our Laravel website for this. So you can actually see what's going on. Here let's go to our top so we can search for notifications. This one. Here in the notifications we can go to broadcast notifications right here. Okay, right here we're gonna copy this method because the one we're gonna use now. Copy that, paste it in here. We're gonna use this to deliver our values to the other user. So here you can just change these variables to user ID. Here you can get the user that we just declared earlier. Here conversation ID. Here conversation ID. You can just copy this. Here type message ID. Here message ID. Here receiver ID. Here we can just do the receiver ID that we just added. Right, so now that is added, we now have to create a channel where our broadcast notifications are going to be authenticated or verified. Now we can go here. If you see down here, we're going to use notifications. So in here you can see this is the users. We have to add this to the users model. This is going to customize the channel. So here copy this, go back to the app. In here, before you go back to the app, we have to add one more thing. Here we have to implement should broadcast now. Make sure it should broadcast now. Alright, we're going to change that later, but for now just go to the user model. In here, after the conversations, we can just paste this one. So after customizing the channel, one last step. In here we can go to the routes and channels. Right here we're going to create a custom channel. We can just copy this. Here we can type users dot ID. It should match this one that we just customized in the user model here. Users and user ID, like that. Okay, after creating this custom channel, we're now going to broadcast our first notification. Here we have to open the chat box. In here, in the send message method, after the message is sent, here we have to broadcast notification. Here let's get this selected conversation. In here we're going to get receiver. Let me collapse this. Here we're going to use the notify new message sent notification. This one. Inside here you can see it's expecting 1, 2, 3, 4 parameters. The first is going to be the auth user. here, created message. Next, going to be the conversation. So I'm going to get this selected conversation. And the next one, selected conversation. Here, let's say get receiver ID. So now if you go back, let's just refresh this. Here in the debug console, we're going to see if the message is delivered correctly. We're going to see the event being fired here. So let's just clear this. Make sure you go to the debug console in the pusher right here. So here, let me try to send a new message. Okay, message is sent. Now let's go and check our debug console, and voila, you can see we now have the message sent with this event. Now if you open this, if you click on this, you can see that we now deliver the user ID, the conversation ID, the message ID, and the receiver ID. So that's it for this video. See you in the next video.